So let's talk about some carbs on a keto diet as people are coming into the chat, because now there's no one and I have to wait for people to come into the chat. So as people are coming into the chat, make sure my setup here, because I have an Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. And yes, all my social media is all over the place with different names. My bad. I'm not a millennial, so I made the mistake. I'll fix it so it's all my name. But for now, Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. Facebook is Stephanie the Business Person. Website, stephanieperson.com. But let's talk about the carbs. What's up, everyone? Everyone's like, hi, hi, hi. Howdy, people. I thought I'd talk about carbs, types, amounts. Do you actually need a lot of carbohydrates? Because, you know, everybody's like checking out the Carnivore thingy, and I'm learning a lot through my test group, which is my keto course group, which has a couple hundred people, which is very interesting how that's working. Like up the stream, Stacy says. Yes, for those, don't forget to like up the stream. You got to hit that little X in the right corner and collapse the window. And Mel, was it Melly Mel? And then rejoin the chat. So you got to collapse, hit the thumbs up, and then rejoin the chat to like the stream. A lot of people don't know how to do it. Come on now, we got 30 something people here and only 17 likes. Okay. So as you guys are coming into the chat, I thought I'd talk about carbs because, you know, sort of a subject that people want to know about. And I keep asking for you guys, energy, 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 energy. Always. Not always, but most of the time. I want to talk about, let's see here. How important are your carbohydrates? How much? You know, male, female. Should you go off of keto and go back onto carbs and stuff like that? Yeah. Okay, Deborah. Did I miss Deborah? Oh, my mod's in the house. And Deborah's like, hey, everybody. So this has become a community on my live stream. So a lot of you guys know each other. So for those who watch the replay, bear with people who know each other. And if you really want to catch me, hit the notification bell or subscribe to my channel. Not channel. All right. Carbs. Let's talk about it. The beginning, when I coached people years ago, so we're going on, I don't know, about 8 years of coaching people on keto, I had people eating up to 9 cups of carbohydrates because I thought that you needed the nutrient value in the plants. I thought you needed all that fiber, and I was really tweaking on people not eating vegetables. So then I went to, of course, the cruciferous type and had people eat broccoli, cauliflower, even kale, asparagus, cabbage, leafy greens, salads. Had people have avocado, which is a fruit, plant source foods, coconuts to some varying degree, the seeds, like even had people on chia seeds in the beginning. Had them on flax seeds, flax faux pancake stuff. Let's see what else. Green beans, mushrooms, and I stayed away from yellow squash, carrots, bell peppers, tomatoes. Well, tomatoes, sort of. A little bit of cucumber I had before, but now I'm cutting that out. Celery. I think those are all of them. And I had people doing spring onions, which I still have them do today. I'm trying to think any other vegetables I can think of. Yeah, so that's what I had people have, and I would go up to 3 cups. So I'd always say between 1 to 3 cups. Now, here's the problem. Some of you can handle. So I have spice. I've prepped some food over there, and there's spice. So it is getting up into my lungs. Tried avocado oil and salmon today. Oh my God, it was so bomb. Yeah. How about butter with your salmon? Or lard, even better. Okay, so I had people eating all of these types of vegetables. And in the first year it was up to 3 cups. And then after a while I started having people rotate their vegetables because people were reacting. But I still did not understand the huge connection with the anti-nutrients and how like bad people would react off of plant source foods. And I also had people eating nuts in the beginning. What's up, Lashonda? So then I started learning about salicylates and oxalates, phytates, phytic acid, goitrogenic foods, nightshades. Obviously, that's a big one because of thyroid sufferers. And then I begin to mention it. So if you guys go back like 5, 6 years, I'll be like salicylates and oxalates and goitrogens and nightshades, blah, blah, blah. So spring onions, the green tops. Yes, the green tops. Yes, green, less carbohydrate when you cook it. Not the little white bulb at the end on the spring onions. So with that said, and then I had people go from 1 to 3 cups, and then scallions, yes. And so I had people, eating these types of vegetables, plant source foods. So sweet potato, and people are like, can I do sweet potato on keto? I'm like, no. One of my meal plans, I have people eating sweet potato or white rice, which are still 2 options that people do who are metabolically damaged before they graduate into keto. But now I'm really realizing that some people respond poorly off of sweet potato. Some, not most, not. And if you have such histamine response to the sweet potato, then I cut it down to just white rice, because all the nutrients have been bleached out. Because what's in the meat really, really messes people up. Yes, the anti-nutrients in that baby seed, grain, whatever. So now that I found Carnivore online and people are talking about it, it's a game changer. So now I'm pretty good with prescribing 1 cup per meal. Pretty good with it. I realize that you don't need all of that soluble fiber or even the insoluble fiber to poop. Now, it can be beneficial for you to have fiber, so prebiotic fiber, so your probiotic, any type of probiotic food or fermented foods that you eat can attach and grow from a prebiotic fiber. That is true. But a lot of you guys who have digestive issues, the actual fiber, soluble and insoluble, begins to bulk up in your colon and just get stuck. Some people are just constipated no matter what they eat, and they're doing like Metamucil, and they're doing like flax or chia to try to poop, and all of these type of fibrous things. They still can't poop. Y'all are the people that are bad to just don't keep stuffing your colon with fiber, because that'll frack you up. Yes, people with kidney disease can do keto, absolutely. So, as you guys know, I'm talking about this subject because, of course, there's always like one annoying person on my chat, like, will you stop being all over the place and just get to the subject? I'm like, if you're patient, I'm actually getting to the subject. So that's a problem with today. People are also impatient. So those who are commenting, I cannot see anything. And so my mods and other people don't necessarily answer everybody right now because I'll get to your questions in a second. So, now I'm realizing things like, so spinach is a great carbohydrate. This is a carbohydrate. Yes. It's got 3 grams of total carbohydrate, but 2 dietary fiber. So if you don't overcook it, and that's per 2 friggin' cups. Okay. So it's got a carb and a half. I mean, there's basically like an insulin spike on this is barely nothing. But this is a high histamine food for a lot of people who've got gut problems. Yes. So you have to test it. And if you've don't eat this in a salad, people. If you have any type of inflammatory reaction to raw plants, because raw plants will frack you up. Yeah. Then for those who have histamine issues the most, boil it. And that will actually bring up the potassium level. So the potassium in this is fantastic for those who are experiencing benign heart palps on keto, which they experience because they lose their electrolytes through dropping a lot of water. They think they're dropping weight. They're not. They're just losing and hemorrhaging their electrolytes. Spinach is great for that. Now, when you get into broccoli and cauliflower, now I know Brussels sprouts are pretty high in carbohydrates, so I don't like for people to, sometimes people with the preparation of Brussels sprouts will boil them and then bake them, because then they're extra yummy like that. I'm not even going to lie. But the longer that you bake the Brussels sprouts, if you bake them, then the more the carbohydrate count will go up because you are obliterating the fiber. But at the same time, I don't like for people to eat raw. No berries. That's not ketotic. And I'm sorry, our fruit has been so genetically altered that there's too much fructose even in our bitter berries. Real berries should taste so sour. It's like more sour than a sour candy. You're like, it's so sour. That's how your berries should taste. They shouldn't taste all sweet and filled with fructose through hybridization. So with that said, and they're making fruit in labs, exactly. So your types of carbohydrates are going to remain towards the cruciferous type. But yes, people who've got thyroid problems and histamine and leaky gut have a problem with all vegetables. I know. And if you don't believe me, check to see if you get bloated. Right there. Right? If you don't digest a cruciferous vegetable very well, then skinny shaming. Okay, you guys shouldn't shame anyone, but you really, and I'm not even being PC. I just get, people are just filled with comments. But I know you're joking around, but people should be healthy, and that's it. All right, or that's the goal. So now we know it's cruciferous vegetables. You have to stay away from things that have seeds. So that now includes taking the seeds and the skin off of a tomato. Really, the tomatoes, like skin, is really the problem, and the seeds also with anything that has seeds, cucumbers and bell peppers, which the carbohydrate count is on those foods are too high anyway. Yellow squash, if you guys are not doing keto and you're doing just low carb. So you don't want to eat your cauliflower every day. You guys need to rotate these things, so just don't get stuck on mono foods, because that will also be a problem with a potential inflammatory reaction that you're not aware of. People are like, no, I eat this food and I feel fine. I'm like, but why don't you look fine? Just saying, don't go by what you feel, because if you're always feeling subpar and that is your optimal state of feeling well, then it's subjective. Now, that's why you want to look at yourself and understand your hormones and understand your blood sugar and your insulin and, things of this nature. Blood pressure, low, even. A lot of people have low blood pressure and they don't realize it until they try keto, and they're like, I don't feel that well. I'm like, oh, your blood pressure is low. You need to up that sodium. So you sodium-free freaks, nope, that's a big problem. Okay, so the amount of carbohydrates. Now, I think broccoli has about 5 total carbs, not including the fiber. But once you take the fiber down, I think it's about 2.5 to 3 carbs per cup. And of course, the more you cook it, then you're kind of factoring back that total carbohydrate count. I don't like for people to go over a cup of loose, like a cup is about a handful of broccoli. Now, cauliflower has less carbohydrate count than broccoli does. For those with histamine intolerance, some do really well on cauliflower, and some do horribly on it, and some do better on cabbage, and some do worse on cauliflower. And it's kind of like two camps. People with histamine, like, I do great with cauliflower. This one's like, I don't, but you're both camps are histamine intolerant people. Some people who have such bad gut walls must cut it all out and do carnivore, period, until the gut wall heals and they can slowly reintroduce some of the foods that do the least amount of damage. Now, how much? People are like, I'm doing a ketogenic diet and I'm doing 50 carbs a day. And I'm like, what planet are you on? And I'm eating berries? No. And I'm eating like pears and green apples and carrots, and like, you're not ketotic. And a lot of people don't know that. It's so nice outside, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, it's like that nice orangey sky. But people don't realize that they're not ketotic. Just always behooves me that they don't know that they're not in actual ketosis. Like, they're not mainly running on fat. Now, you can make ketones but not use them and not be high enough, and blood sugar all over the place, and that makes your ketones less viable. So I like for people to do 20 net carbs So 20 net carbs, I believe, is under 10 total carbs. If you do not factor in the fiber because of, let's say, you're cooking your vegetables because of histamine issues. Now, people with histamine can try a pressure cooker, but it doesn't necessarily kill all the anti-nutrients. But we want to be at 20 total or 20 net, period. No, 20 total, I'm sorry. 20 net and anything that's total that's under. Yeah. So 20 total. No, 20 net. 20 net or 20 total. 20 total is going to be a lot less anyway. So that's right. Now, I think that's it. I think that pretty much covers it. Now, there are some people who can tolerate carbohydrates more than others. I've been doing this thing for 11 years. It's coming on 11 years, like right around the corner. And yeah, if I have a little bit more high carbohydrate, it doesn't affect, pretty much a lot of things don't affect my keto adaptation anymore. Stress, fasting for 24 hours, which I've done that because I was flying from Cambodia to South Thailand, and I literally didn't have time to go in between, and there was so much traveling that I didn't have enough time to grab food. So I was like, well, here goes the full 24-hour fast. I was fine and had no blood sugar dysregulation from it, didn't crash, just felt the same. So I've gone through some like stressful things, and it seems as though my ketone production is just right there in the sweet spot, and my energy is super stable, period, which is unbelievable. That in my reality, that I haven't had a drop of sugar, a starchy carbohydrate in 11 years. My glycogen storages, you guys, have been drained years ago. So your glycogen is going to store from the starchy carbs that you eat. If I have a handful of spinach, it's not going to restore my glycogen in my muscles. It's not going to happen. So I have to use ketones, or else I'd be crawling on the floor, right? Blood sugar low, ketones low, and I would feel like crap, and my hair would start falling out, and I would just start looking sick because of having thyroid issues, and I would lose a ton of weight, and I wouldn't be able to build what? I wouldn't be able to build muscle if I was just running on that very low amount of carbohydrate without ketones. Yes, so Wolf, Haley, our ancestors, you have to think like this. Nobody has to be in keto all the time, but our ancestors didn't have like rice and grains and all of it. They didn't have anything genetically modified. So they didn't have anything hybridized, not our hunter-gatherer tribes. So the amount of carbohydrates from tubers, from bitter berries was negligible. It was very low. And that means that they had to rely a lot on ketones. And I think that if you go by the research with what we know, that the highest amount of glucose reaction we would have is from honey. So that has a high glycemic index, but you have to realize honeycombs are very high up in trees. You have to climb the tree. Then you're going to get stung a million times. You're almost going to die getting stung. And then you got to throw the combs down and feed a tribe of people. So we still wouldn't have that much carbohydrate no matter how you turn it and twist it around. So yes, we relied on glucose, but we also relied a lot on ketones, because everybody can make ketones, and there's a reason for that. And everybody makes cholesterol, and there's a reason for that too. Okay, what's wrong with resistant starch like cold potatoes, since feeds the gut flora and colon? Doesn't. Sorry, JJ. New data. A lot of people are allergic to potatoes, okay? They're nightshades. And people get really, really sick on resistant starch. So why would you? And plus, resistant starch in people who've done my protocol shoots their blood sugar up. Period. They don't stay ketotic. So if you want to use resistant starch to feed probiotic, you can't just take resistant starch. You have to eat probiotic foods for that to work, or else you're wasting your time with your gut getting this freaking big. So no, you don't need resistant starch. You can adapt on it, and if you're using it to try to enhance gut flora, then you've got to find the right fermented foods that don't mess your gut up either, and you've got to clear out the weeds before you plant the seeds. So clear out all of the bacterial imbalance before you start trying to, like, all of the like SIBO and Giardia and was it C dip and all this weird stuff before you start trying to just pound probiotics down. And I have to tell you, there's a guy I talked to, and I said this the other day in another stream. There was a guy I talked to, and at my gym, and we were just talking about like, oh, I haven't seen you in a couple days. Oh, it's because I got really sick. And then like I could just see that, like he's young too, but he didn't look well. It's like really like irritated skin, big pores. He's had this really funny smell, which partially is due to all the protein, with the kidneys overworking and they stink. There's always that protein, stinky, smelly, musty, nasty, metallic. So I started talking about the gut, because I could tell that everything on his face was symbolic of the gut. So I started saying, be careful for your gut. And I said, you have to even be careful for probiotics. And it was my intuition. He's like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, probiotics can make you really, 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 really sick if you just go grab a probiotic and swallow it. If you got a really bad gut dysbiosis or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, I said that, a probiotic, one probiotic pill can send you to the hospital. And he goes, you read my mind. I'm like, say what? He's like, I went to the hospital. That's the truth. I took a probiotic pill, because he's doing like, physique competitor. And he's like, I took a probiotic pill and my coach told me to take it, and I had such sharp pain in my gut, I had to go to the emergency room. And I was like, you should have just texted me and I would have told you to take activated charcoal. He's like, yeah, that's what they told me to take. So just want to preface that. Okay, how many avocados can I eat in a day? As many as you want, Tim, because the amount of carbohydrate and the amount of fat and the amount of fiber slows down the rate at which that carbohydrate hits the bloodstream, because there's about 13 grams per Hass avocado, which seems to be a lot, but we want things slowly dripping into the bloodstream, which does not create a high glucose spike or an insulin spike. How do you start keto? Well, Tim, I got a ton of freaking videos, thousands. It's too long to explain, to be honest, right now. And I'm trying to keep these streams kind of tight and right. Oh, you guys have to look at this guy. I gotta turn my camera around. Just look at this. Look at that. Just look at that. I'm just saying, it's so nice outside. Oh. Why do I have the thing shut? It's so nice out. Oh, I love it. Love, love, love. Oh. I love California. You guys know that. That's all I ever say. And you know what? It's more orange outside than my camera's picking up. It's super, super, super orange. As you can see, there's a like orange hue on me. Oh, it's California. I love California. All right, let's get to you guys' questions here. Should you be out? What do you mean? Should I be out? Didn't our ancestors? Okay, wait, let me see. Going back. I eat veggies like cauliflower almost every day and have right heart rate. Wait, I have high heart rate at night. Oh, that's because you don't have enough potassium. That's where this will come in. High heart rate is benign heart palps. Gosh, it's getting more orange. Look how orange I am. That's from outside, you guys. Look at this. That is from outside. Let's see if I can get that. Look at how orange. Oh, it's so nice. Okay. I'm just like, oh, it's so nice outside. Sorry, guys. I'm just geeking out for a second. I kind of get bored answering these questions all the time, week after week. Okay. I know you feel out of work. What graveyard shift in keto? Any advice for people to make this shift a part of their lives? Yes, D. Hunska, 2012. So I always explain to people who do third shift night workers, I don't know if you're a second or third shift, but if you're getting up at, let me see, it looks like Florida, okay. But we don't have that humidity. Okay, so if you're a third shift night worker and you're getting up around 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, then all those things play a big role. Diaphragmatic breathing, keeping your stress down, your blood pressure down, because once you go into the evening and your body should be in a parasympathetic state of like calmness, and then you're cranked up to work, it's going to be this weird inverted cortisol reaction. So cortisol should be highest in the morning. You completely miss that window because you slept through it. You're not connected to a circadian rhythm. So it is going to put stress on your body, on your DNA, and that's just the way that it is. So I really don't like that people do night shift working, but it is what it is. So you would take, so I've explained this in other streams. You get up and have your first meal, which would be your breakfast. You would eat around 5 or 6, would be your lunch, dinner. Then you'd probably eat again around 10. After that, you should use like a broth. If you have a histamine response to the glutamate and bone broth, you can do a meat broth with collagen, some chicken feet, some oxtail all up in there, and a ton of fat added in like a 16-ounce thermos, and sip all on that blah, 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 throughout the night, especially in the middle of the night. So when you come home, you're not starving and eat a big meal and then crash and go to sleep. There you go. And there's a lot more to the night shift stuff, but Frank Tufano is blowing up. I think Frank Tufano is really, really doing well with his research of understanding the nutrient density in plants versus animal protein. So I just, I give him hands off to that. But I don't think he understands like the gallbladder and, polycystic ovarian syndrome and histamine response. Like that's not his lane. His lane is really to understand the high density in, I don't think he understands like ketones and like blood sugar, like any of that stuff. But with his research on plants versus animal, I don't think anybody's done that. Like Sverige, his name is not Sverige. Stop calling him Sverige. Ooh, it's like glass to my ears when people call him Sverige. It's Sverige. Sverige. Boom. Okay, so even I like Milk Jar. I like him too. Milk Jar, Sverige, and Frank Tufano. And I really think that Frank Tufano is taking his lane to really distinguish between the two, so people aren't afraid. Like you can still have vitamin C in meat and in liver, right? And you get nice K2 in liver and vitamin A, and you get retinol instead of keratin. Like he really distinguished the two, so you guys understand to not be afraid of eating. Like I've got organ meats right here. What? So this is beef liver. So what I do is I just have it sit under warm water from the sink, right? And then I strain it. And so that's what my beef liver looks like. So it hasn't actually been cooked on a pan. And I eat it like this, and I spice it and eat it. So that's my beef liver. And he will go down and break down the nutrient density in like beef liver as opposed to like, I don't know, an apple, for example, or this. But although, I don't think Frank goes into like, oh, okay, why do people have heart palps? Because, they're low potassium. The potassium amounts in liver is not high enough to deal with somebody's like extreme potassium deficiency. Why people develop potassium deficiency. So that's what I think about Frank. I think he's carving out a really nice lane for himself. But Frank Tufano did call me old, and he said, oh, that old lady who's crazy. So Frank, I hope that gets back to you, because I heard you say that. Okay. Old lady child. Let's put your face next to my face. Boop. But otherwise, I think he's doing a great job. That's what I think about Frank. Cod liver, oyster, salmon, yeah, salmon roe, he talks about all that stuff. Cod liver, oysters, for the selenium. Salmon roe, which is nutrient dense. How's your book coming? It's awesome, Melly Mel. Books coming fantastically. And I think because I've just waited, and I didn't just like, oh, I want money now, so I'm gonna go and hit that keto train and just put out information, and then now I know so much more. Like I had a consultation today with a woman who had a type of how do I explain this? I need to shut this so no flies come into my place. Oh, this guy's so pretty. She had I forgot what it's called. It was called vaginus something. And what it was a tension in the cervix. And we were trying to figure out, like, she wasn't breastfed. Does that play a role in her weight? Does her vaginismus, something like that, play a role in, like, her estrogen dominance, thyroid symptoms? Does this all the way go back to what her mother ate and all the stress when her mother was in her belly? So these are the things. So we spoke about how to strengthen her gut wall and to balance her sex hormones. That's my lane, okay? That's my lane. Svetier has a cult-like mentality. I don't care. I'll take whatever's his series on veganism. I really like it. I think it's well done. I like his what is it, like the nutritional deficiencies. He's done like a couple series of them. Like those things he has done, I think they're absolutely freaking brilliant. I think they're great. Some of his other ideology, if I don't like it, I don't care. I just don't watch. Like, it doesn't bother me. I'm just like, that's what he does. I don't care. And I like Milk Jar. He disappeared. What happened to you, Milk Jar? Okay. Oh, and there's another guy, Carnivore, whatever. He's kind of like a little bit pedantic sounding, but he's very smart too. Okay, I have a blood sugar of 77, ketones at 7. Ooh, low ketones. 0.7, but my energy's through the roof. Does that mean I'm in ketosis? No, Stacy. What is it? Stacy Alkin? It means that you're running off of, most likely, if I spoke to you, I'd be able to find out more if I knew more consistent measurements on your blood sugar, because you're not having blood sugar of 77 all the time. Like, those numbers look like hypoglycemia. And probably there are some people who just have a lot of energy naturally because they're constant, like, adrenal gland responders. Like, you know, cortisol, adrenaline, gluconeogenesis, and they always have energy. So that could be you. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see your thoughts on fat bombs for sweet tooth people. Tim, my thoughts are to stop the sweet tooth by eating more fat. That's really how you do it, to be honest. To be honest, like, you can use stevia. You can't do any totals, no xylitol, maltitol, whatever. You can't do any of the sugar alcohols. Come on, phone. Focus. 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 Fat bombs only made with butter, and if you have no histamine to the whey and casein and coconut oil, yes, you could do that, but I really feel like people should get over their sweet tooth. Are you going to put out your book on Audible? And I'm trying to decide if that's going to be, I'm going to try to get it on Audible. I'm going to push for that. Yes, I'm going to push for that. But that means it's going to take, like, it's just more work. So I'm going to try, people. I'm going to try. Correct morning glucose for ketogenic people. It's not just the glucose, it's glucose and ketones, because that person, was that you said 77? You could have a blood sugar of 77 and be hypoglycemic and not even know it. So you want to make sure it's between 69 to around 80, and I will push it to about 82. But ketones have to be over 1, preferably 1.8 to a 3.0, with energy and no crepey skin, no dark circles under the eyes, no, issues with sleeping, with balanced reproductive hormones. These are all indications of being ketotic, right? You can't be estrogen dominant, tired all the time, have ketones at 3.0 and you're in ketosis. It just, the body doesn't work like that. Just saying. Let's see here. More fat is the key. Yes, always more fat, Paul J. How much fat? 200 to 300 to 400. Depends, like, if you are my earring. It's just, come on. Encouraging that earring to just stay up there. Boop. Okay. Yes. Let's see here. How do you approve of non-organic avocados? I mean, if you can't afford it, that's fine. They got a shell on it, but you're always going to be exposed to the pesticides. But I mean, if that's what you want to do, because it's freaking expensive to do organic. Yes. Well, it depends, Deborah. If he's a big dude, 200 grams is not gonna kill it. So if it's a dude, I often like guys who work out, who are big, to go 300. And I mean on the plate, not in the cooking process. Ja, 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 precis, correct. Best way to use MCT oil, MCT oil. The best way to use MCT oil is to not use it. It's too expensive and it's just hype, yo. Don't believe the hype, Public Enemy said. Don't believe the hype. It's processed. It's better just to use the coconut oil because it's got the lauric acid in it. I stopped with MCT oil a long time ago when I realized it's kind of a scam. Like they take out the lauric acid, and that's the love, right? That's the love in the whole thing. They took out the lauric acid. That's the antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral property. And then it's just the MCT on its own, and it doesn't make you adapt at all. I've tried that. People who are afraid of animal fat, they're like, oh, I did a lot of, coconut oil and MCT oil, and then their ketones are garbage. No wonder you had a problem with it. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to, that's the love. Sometimes it's hard to digest the caprylic acid. So sometimes it gives you Hershey squirts in some people. Okay, do you guys have more questions? We've got 81 people in the house. Just trying to see if I missed any questions. Thank you for being you and giving us all this truth. Love. Thank you, Jose. Joseph, sorry. S. Yes, there's a thing with too much sodium, someone said. I mean, if you eat too much sodium without a potassium balance, you're gonna blow up like a balloon. So trust me, there is a friggin', there is a level of expanding the cells and the bloodstream with too much fluid make you feel horrible. Yes, because you need vitamins, homie. Coconut oil is won't do. Thank you. Tell him, Calvin M. No, I'm kidding. Yes, and there's no vitamins. I mean, it has vitamin D, E, A, K, and it can have, depends on what fat it is, it can have the omega-3s in it and conjugate linoleic acid and arachidonic acid. And unfortunately, that coconut oil is devoid of that. That MCT oil is devoid of it, so don't really need it. It's expensive. People are like, oh, it gives me a little energy. And it could give you a little short, 10, 15-minute bump as a pre-workout, but not to be ketotic at all. How do you lose at least 10 pounds? What's stuck in my and on plateau? JJ, because you're doing things the wrong way. Because the body doesn't work like that. The body doesn't go like, oh, I'm just going to lose 10 pounds. Like, are you sleeping? Are you insulin resistant at night because of crappy sleep? How much REM sleep in compared to deep sleep? What are your macros? How do you breathe? How do you stand? How do you think? Like, what's your hormones going on? What's your insulin? Do you know your insulin? Do you know your A1C? Those things matter. They really, really matter. Thank you, Stacy. My question is off topic, but do you use PubMed to do your research? PubMed! PubMed doesn't know anything I know. Are you serious? No, child, I would never research PubMed for what I know. PubMed, you guys, you got to understand, it's really expensive. It's super expensive to do studies on anything. And so you have to do it over the long term. If you do keto for a month, there was a 1 month study, and people do horrible in a month because they're first of all eating cheese and nuts and drinking caffeine and skipping meals and not dealing with their stress, and their carbs are too high and their protein's too high and all this kind of stuff. Fats are too low. They don't adapt. They feel bad. They develop hypoglycemia, thyroid conditions. Their hair falls out. Testosterone drops. And then people are saying that ketogenic is diet because they've studied it for 1 month. Why would I look at PubMed? That would be the most dumb thing I could ever do. Not to be rude. So where I get my information from is from the thousands of people that I coach. That's how. Because in the beginning I had wrong information out there. If you go to my very first videos, it has all changed because of the people that I work with. Okay. Boop. No need to do intermittent fasting with keto. Dr. Berg recommends it for faster weight loss. Dr. Berg, I don't want to say his name. You got me to say his name because I read the freaking thing. Dr. Dingleberries, no, okay? I'm sorry. He could be the nicest guy on the planet, but he's telling you to intermittent fast because that makes money. Money. Make some cash. No, child, no, honey. Metabolic derangement. The thing is, like, he seems like a nice person, but if I ever spoke to him, I don't know how he would react, because I would just crush most of his ideology when it comes to keto and intermittent fasting. That's not his lane, bruh. That's his money lane. No. Stick to the adrenal body and all that. Let's see. YouTube, what about it? A jock? Did you mean joke? Yeah, I mean, Frank Tufano, and I think, who else? Vegan Gains, like, called him out on his shite. Because he is just so capitalistic. He's so greedy, money hungry right now. And I'm telling you, like, he could be the nicest person on the planet. But he's appealing to a lot of women. Child, you are not a woman. I am a 51-year-old woman, okay? No, please, nah, I'm not going to get my advice from him. No. Although, should a man get advice from me? So that could be contradictory. Boop. But at least I'm a freaking athlete. Used to be pro skater. First African-American pro skater ever in history of the sport. What? Do you know what good do you know what good fasting insulin number is on blood tests? Mine is a 7.3. And B, no, I've got to go and research that and look at the numbers again and make the comparisons to the A1C and glucose. There's other people's information. He does regurgitate it. He does. He seems like a nice guy. I mean, I'm not hating on him as a person. Like, I don't know how he is off of camera. You know what I'm saying? But he's very smart with his business. He did a lot of clickbaiting, sells a lot of products. He's very, very smart with for a guy who wants to make some dough. If you want to learn how to make money, go follow him. If you want, like, proper information across the board, I mean, he's got nuggets of information. I'm not going to lie. He's got nuggets of it. Some of his regurgitation is good regurgitation. But I just really get, like, disgusted with the amount of, like, greediness of money. Like, you have to be careful because you can hurt people telling them to intermittent fast. Every single person I've done a consultation with who intermittent fasted, plus all the people, the hundreds of people on my keto course page, they have problems fasting. I mean, the data is coming out now, right? This whole response of, like, bone health and, you know, liver, kidney, colon, the biliary system detoxification, it's not happening on fasting. People are developing thyroid issues, low libido. They're not actually in ketosis. There's definitely, okay, Dr. Dingleberries is definitely doing keto on himself, though. If you see how his body, face, and skin have changed the past 2 years, it's drastic. He just preaches intermittent fasting. Yeah, I've seen how he looks, but I haven't seen him without a shirt on. Y'all should go visit Paul Chek, because he used to say, if you're going to be a health professional, let's see what you're working with sometime. Come on, people, now. Just because you're thin doesn't mean you're healthy, honey child. No. Okay? He's just a couple years, what? I think he's just a couple years older than I am. And I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I wear these clothes, so you guys can go, okay, let's look at the catalog of all her videos. She hasn't changed in all these years. So I'm not hiding anything. Okay? I'm not buttoned up to here. I don't care about wearing this clothing for the camera. Is it okay to be bone broth fast? And what is it okay to do a bone broth fast? No. So, Ranisha, sorry. No, there's no fasting, people. Eat your food. The hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis will freak out if you have, was it Rashonda? Wait. Ranisha, sorry. If you have any issues with your reproductive system, if you have any estrogen dominance, if you have any adrenal insufficiencies, any inverted cortisol, any problem sleeping, anything with your blood sugar, and you just eat a lot of broth with fat, then the body's like, you need to chew your food, right? Because that sends a signal here that food's coming in, right? So there's less of adrenal response. The body understands chewing its food. It doesn't understand shakes and drinking food all the time. So if you want a balanced system, you've got to chew your food. Guys, everything matters. I know it sounds very picky, but it matters. No, it hasn't, Wolf Haley. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Y'all, be careful with these studies and what people say, bruh. No, it hasn't. Okay, when people say, oh, it's been proven that intermittent fasting is helping with people without immunity. So what if you have hypoglycemia? You're not in ketosis? Oh, that won't help you. Oh, what if your hair's falling out? Thyroid problems? Oh, it'll fall out more. Right, lower T3, yes, higher TSH. You have to contextualize things. And the problem is, you do a study, you don't know what the person ate, how they live, male, female. Like if you're dealing with somebody who's obese and you have them intermittent fast because they're eating garbage and their leptin is low and their insulin is running high, and you do intermittent fasting on the short term, you're going to see their insulin drop, and then you're going to see it rebound, and then you're going to see this because they're not in ketosis and there's not enough stored glycogen. Then they start getting sick and their immunity drops. You have to contextualize things. How long were people doing this for? Like, what was the subject? Who was the subject? How did they live? These studies don't include that, so a lot of studies are bullcrap. Okay? Now, I need to calm down. Stop being silly, Stephanie. Yes, you need to eat even though you're not hungry in the beginning. You have to figure out, am I not hungry because I have low HCl, no low digestive enzymes, because I have a gallbladder problem? Because people who aren't hungry might have an issue either with a lot of adrenaline release into the bloodstream, which will stifle hunger, because if you have a dump of adrenaline, you're not going to, like if you're fight or flight syndrome, you're not going to eat a meal if a lion's chasing you in the way the body responds. Or do you have low stomach acid and it's hard to break down all of the fat, because keto is not a lot of food, it's a lot of fat. And if I show you a Kerrygold block of butter, an ice cream sandwich is bigger than a Kerrygold block of butter. So sometimes it's also psychological because people are like, I can't eat all that fat. Okay, how many meals are good during the day? So Tim, if you're starting off keto, I really suggest for people to always eat 3 main meals in the beginning while they're trying to adapt with the right macros and circadian rhythm, and chew your food until it's freaking like liquid, and eat your food over 30 minutes time so you can digest it properly. Figure out if you have any food sensitivities, and see if you're eating 1,800 calories from fat, how many more caps should you eat? What should you eat from other macros? Caps? What, you mean calories? Chad, I don't know what you mean, Liz, honey. You need to rewrite that. Went from almost 70 hot flashes a day down to 1 or 2. I've noticed I keep my fats high, my hot flashes are low. Heather Carlson, awesome, son of Carl, Scandinavian last name, love it. Tell him. She's like, when I keep my fats high, my hot flashes minimized. That's amazing. Eat your food until it's liquid. Hungry would you have to be to kill a cow? Child, I don't know. How hungry would you have to eat to be? Why don't you answer your own question? I'm not a hunter-gatherer, so I don't have to kill a cow to be really hungry. But if I was really hungry, how long would it take? How many seconds? If I was really starving, probably just 1 second. I really suggest that people don't do cardio, because if you have adrenal issues, it'll just make you shouldn't be like this. That's like a problem with your blood pressure high. No. That's why we do weight training and time under tension. Since fasting, blood sugar went from 300 down to 85 consistently after 2 weeks on keto. What about compound exercises? Sure, you can do compound exercises. Okay, guys, we're at 48 minutes and 87. Like my numbers have been down. What's going on? People are not finding me. Can we get the likes up, you guys, for people who have never people who have not found me will find me if you like up the stream. So, guys, if you don't mind hitting that X to like up the stream. And let me see what else. Yeah. I wouldn't do CrossFit. I would take breaks. I wouldn't do like these 20-minute WODs, because it'll just your blood sugar is going to be so crazy all over the place. So like up the stream, chat, collapse the chat window, hit the thumbs up, then reopen the chat window to rejoin. Not went up to 91. That's really weird. It went up 10 people in seconds. Can we get the likes up, you guys? That's my point. I think people are eating too much meat, and it's not proportional to today's life. Well, it's not even the fact if people are eating too much meat or not. I mean, people on a standard American diet don't eat a lot of meat, people. Hello. A hamburger, you're going to have, if you went and had some burger and fries, you're going to have a lot of carbs and not a lot of, like the amount of meat on a burger is negligible, around 3 ounces. That's not a lot of meat. So people have it wrong when they think that standard American diet people eat a lot of meat. In fact, people who do keto wrong tend to eat more meat than they ever had before because they're hungry. They don't eat enough fast, so they're hungry. To subscribe to my Facebook Keto course page, go to stephanieperson.com. So thank you, Deborah, for putting that up for the other people. What's a normal blood glucose spike after a meal? How many points? I know it should return tested number before the meal, 2 hours. Yes. So if you have a good, if you have a, you know, I got jacked up knees, people. If you have a good fasted, let's say you wake up and your blood sugar is like 79, and then you go and have breakfast, and then you test your blood sugar 2 hours after breakfast, and your blood sugar is 83. That's fine. If your blood sugar shoots up to 88, 90, 95, it's a problem. I would prefer that your blood sugar after 2 hours would drop it back down to 79. That's the preference, to be ketotic. To book a consultation with Stephanie, go to her website, which is stephanieperson.com. Yes, you guys, I do consultations, and I've been doing this for a long time. Every period's on keto. That's because your estrogen is going like this, estradiol, and progesterone's like down here, and you probably had abnormal reproductive hormonal numbers or values before, blood values or in the cell values. And when you're doing keto the wrong way, it exacerbates your problem. Your body gets under stress if you do keto the wrong way. Your blood sugar gets wonky, it gets too high, too low. Your sleep gets weird. You know, you don't have enough electrolytes. You're not replenishing electrolytes. So there's a lot of reasons why women's menstrual cycles get very heavy or days longer in between. So you either have it gets worse or it gets a lot better and starts up again on keto. So typically the people where it gets worse, they're not doing things the right way, which is why I have a keto course, or you can do a consultation or watch my millions of videos. Okay, Calvin's message just above. Okay, let's see here. Calvin, where's Calvin? Steph, I need to to be a vegan and do a lot of intermittent fasting. It ruins my ruins my spike. Ruins my spike completely. How do I rebuild my spine? I am not an orthopedic doctor. Sorry, my right won't open due to neck spine thing, and I don't want to do surgery. How do I? Used to be vegan. Used to be vegan, a lot of intermittent fast. Okay, thank you, Calvin. That's a really great, thank you. Here's Calvin, vegan, intermittent fasting, and now he's got problems with his bones, right? Because when you do any type of fasting too long or veganism, you can actually, or if you are those two camps, and you have a lot of gluconeogenesis, you're gonna break down amino acids plus your bone marrow, and begin to develop issues with the bone density and osteoporosis and whatnot. So to be honest, I think that you've just got to, do a proper diet, get proper sleep, because there's certain exercises, lifting schedule, circadian rhythm, sleep, the dietary measures, being ketotic, stabilizing your blood sugar so you're less gluconeogenic, and just on a little sentence. And I haven't spoken to you, that's all I can say, unless I speak to you. Steph, I read that. Keto can trigger candida die-off. Yes. Just cutting out certain foods and warm lemon water in the morning. Yep. Keto can. That means if you have a reaction, you yeasty. Are you against fatty fish? No, of course not. Omega-3, no, it's amazing. Amazing. Vegetarian, keto, good or bad? Non-vegetarian, anything, just eating the foods that your body needs to heal itself. So just eating like eggs and butter eggs are allergenic, butter can be allergenic. So, but if you're vegan, you go vegetarian, then yes, you could do eggs and butter and just try not to pound down too many eggs to develop a sensitivity. You're very smart for sure. When I was a bodybuilder, as a young man, my results skyrocketed when I used to use time under tension after reading bodybuilding books. Yes. So Bill, yeah, time under tension is amazing. Slow in the negatives. Very, very great. People are starting to realize with more like kinesiology and biomechanics, muscle physiology, people are starting to understand that you can create a hypertrophy effect by doing, like Doug McGuff. Doug McGuff's a big time under tension. Although his time under tension time is too long, in my opinion, and a lot of guys love Doug, so, there's like not bro science, but bro to bro connection. But yes, you can do less weight and under tension and have hypertrophy by doing the sliding filaments, actin and myosin grinding when you're going on the negative. Unless it's tilapia? What? No, tilapia. Great Lakes collagen is processed. I know. It's your. I mean, it's not horrible, but I'd rather people go and throw some chicken feet and some oxtail, some pig feet, and some like slow cook it. You're gonna get a lot of collagen that way, not some powdered, hydrolyzed stuff. You know what I mean? I don't really think that that's Mother Nature. No, I know it's not, because man got his dirty little hands on it again. Max protein per meal. I'm 210 pounds. You're a guy. I don't know. Do you lift? I mean, if you're 210 pounds, are you 6'4"? Are you 5'10"? Are you 5'9", 210? That would mean that your protein allotment should be a lot lower. Definitely under 85. Definitely under 90. Shouldn't be lower than 60. Bone broth, okay, if you are not allergic to the glutamate protein in the bone marrow. Some people are, and then they have to do a meat broth. I think you guys, for these last people who joined the chat, if you don't mind liking up the stream, because that helps bring people to my channel, and I can't see who's in the chat. I can only see who's making comments. So if you want to secretly like up the stream, it helps bring more traffic flow to my humble little channel that's been growing very, very, very slowly over time, but at least I'm not a liar. At least I keep it real. Dairy on keto, butter, nothing else. Well, maybe A2 grass-fed raw kefir, if you don't have a response to it, unless your gut doesn't explode to it. Or the whey and casing, per meal protein allotment per meal through, not per day. No, I don't know who you are though. So if you, it's like, let's say that it's 60 grams of protein. So you're gonna have 20 in each meal. That's just giving you an idea. If you did 3 meals a day, that's not what I'm saying for you to do. It's just an example. Will keto get rid of my joint pains? Tim, it definitely well can. It did mine. That's for sure. It did mine. Like, no cottage cheese. That's nastiness. No. That's no. That's a big no. No. For me, being a pro skateboarder and falling nonstop on my hips and breaking arms and knees and legs and ankles, I would be so hard to walk today. And I had 10 surgeries on my left knee. I was on crutches for nearly 4 years. And if I didn't do keto, I probably couldn't stand this long, because I'd be like in such pain, which I'm in pain anyway, but not as bad. I can't wait to buy your book. Told all my friends about you. Thank you, Paulus27. Thank you so much. It eliminated my joint pain. So Deborah has rheumatoid arthritis, which is typically a genetic disorder where you see the people where their knuckles get all clawed out because they have so much inflammation in the joint. They tend to have a lot of surgeries. It's a horrible, horrible affliction. And so the few rheumatoid arthritis people that I've worked with, or people like Deborah, who's constantly giving out, or that she has taken down her arthritic pain and inflammation exponentially doing a ketogenic diet. And I mean, she is my mod here. She's my mod on my keto page. I don't pay her, but she's still very, very loyal to this. I hate to say cause, how cheesy, right? To this thing that I'm trying to do with getting out good information. And she also gets out there and, tells people like what her own experience is, and her daughter. So it's really, really interesting to hear Deborah's backstory. Okay, guys, it is time for me to go. We are at 1 hour. I always do this. I was stream until it got dark, and now it's dark, and I'm still streaming. Being in keto, do we still need to avoid xenoestrogens as much as possible? I think everybody should avoid xenoestrogens from plastics and BPAs as much as it's keto or not keto. That does not matter. I lost 60 kilos in 7 months on keto, intermittent fasting. Raul, you lost a lot of money, honey. money. You lost a lot of muscle. You lost a lot of amino acids. That's what you lost intermittent fasting for that long. Boop. Yes, and if I'm wrong, send me current pictures of you. Let me see you live, and let me see you come work out with me to say different. With a 51-year-old with a busted leg. So, unfortunately, Raul, like a lot of people, there's a lot of people who drink that Kool-Aid, but they don't show who they are. And that just, to me, it's really annoying. I lost a lot of weight doing intermittent fasting. Okay, what's the science behind what happened to your body? Oh, you don't know. Okay, so you just lost weight on a scale, but did you lose anything else? Well, people don't matter because they're so obsessed with being smaller, they don't care if their endocrine system gets jacked up. Have you heard of Tutka? It's actually a bear bile, and it clears the gallbladder of stones and unclogs it, much stronger than ox bile. How? I'm going to look that up. To get more bile flow, unclog. Look into it. Thank you, Calvin. Let me see. I got to remember this. It's called Tutka. I gotta remember that. Okay, Tutka. I gotta say it or else I'll forget. How to send my pic. Send me a video. Go to my Facebook, right? Go to my Facebook and DM a video of yourself currently and say the date. Yep. I want to see the body, upper body. Yeah, and flex. Let's see. You got me on I got you on liver months ago, and I love it. Now getting from a local farmer. Oh, so freaking awesome. Sharav Boone, did I say that right? Just putting this out there. Stephanie, oh God, thanks, Tim. I got a big mouth too. I was at the gym today. I was like, you see these girls walking around like this? Let's pretend this is a water bottle, right? And they're like, and I'm like, that's just not me. Like, it'll never be me. Oh, just not that kind of girl. Let's see here. See you on Facebook. Awesome. Okay, guys, time for me to go. And come on, Eileen. To hoorah, yay. She's 100% homie. Polygus. Got a lot of guys today. We got Hugo, Calvin, Tim, Raul. Am I saying that right? Raul? And it's nice to see guys for the first time. Okay, I gotta go. Girlfriend's gotta go. Thank you, everyone, for joining the chat. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you, everyone, for liking the chat and for just, sticking around and watching my crazy self. Bye. Thank you so much again for giving us a part of you every time you speak to us. Aw, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for all my female homies too. Kathy, thank you. Narita Cortez, thank you so much. Angela, Stacy, and always Deborah for always helping me out with and looks like we had no trolls because I don't think she deleted anybody's comments. So thanks for being. Like I said, I don't like to talk about anybody else, even if it's, fungus or dingleberry. Like, I don't really want to talk about them because I don't know them as individual people. I'm just talking about stuff that's out there on the internet that don't trust me and don't trust them and don't trust anybody and don't trust even Raul, even though I love you, honey. Don't trust anybody. You have to go do your due diligence, understand your existing health, and then make your decision. That's all you got to do. You know what I mean? So thanks, guys, and I'm out. Peace.